What's up, everybody? It's Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, and we are back once again, this time with some PGA DFS picks and lineup advice, both FanDuel and DraftKings, predictions for the Northern Trust up in TPC Boston. In this video, we're going to use the tools at OccupyFantasy.com to talk about some top plays. We're going to look at the betting market movers here on Wednesday afternoon. We'll talk about some projected ownership and then discuss some ways to build your lineups for both FanDuel and DraftKings. Before we get started though, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. That way you get access to all of our latest videos as soon as they're released. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. We always appreciate that. And go ahead and comment below if you have any questions about this slate or any comments about our content in general. And we also like to hear who you think are the best plays, FanDuel, DraftKings. Who do you think is going to win the Northern Trust? Comment below with your opinion as well. Now, we are recording this Wednesday afternoon. Be sure to join us tonight, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, twitch.tv/OccupyFantasy. That link is in the description below, where we do a live Q&A. We take your questions live. You guys drive the discussion, and we'll answer them. Use our tools at Occupy Fantasy, the Daily Plug, and the Occupy model to help you build your lineups ahead of tomorrow's PGA DFS slate. So what you see on screen here now is the Daily Plug, OccupyFantasy.com. Tony Finau is the cover boy this week. And let's scroll down and let's talk about this particular event and the course where they're playing, TPC Boston. And we have a wealth of data at our disposal this week. 10 plus years of data of events at this course. So that's always great. No sample size issues. And really what we want here, it is a relatively short course. As you see, par 71, 7,300 yards. And Niramata, our PGA DFS expert on staff, top PGA DFS player, always writes the Daily Plug. He believes this week that 15 to 18 under will be the range that you'll need to win this tournament. So we need guys who can make birdies. But then more importantly, we're looking at approach play in particular, guys who play great with their irons. And par fives are pretty important as well. With 3 reachable par fives, you're going to have to crush those holes if you want a chance to win this event. Now, let's scroll back up. Niramata comes in every Wednesday in the Daily Plug. And this is above the paywall, by the way. The Daily Plug, all the top plays and lineup construction advice are behind the paywall. But the Wednesday update, which has been very predictive, the sharp bettors have been absolutely crushing their plays since the restart. Niramata comes in and looks at golfers who have seen the biggest decrease in their odds to win the tournament. That's a good thing since lines have opened. By looking at golfers who have been getting bet in the sharp betting markets at Pinnacle Sports, one of the sharpest sports books in the world, we get to see who the values are when you compare their new odds to win to their FanDuel and DraftKings salaries. And we see here, Jason Day, Hideki Matsuyama, Matthew Wolff, Abraham Answer lead the way. 4 golfers with a 20% or higher move in their odds to win. That's a very good thing. These guys should probably be in the cores of your lineups. The sharp bettors have not been missing in their biggest moves, and nearly every week they've nailed, if not the winner, at least the top 2 or 3 performer. As we scroll down, now Brooks Koepka was a withdrawal early this morning, so we can remove his name from this list. But we see other guys like Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton, Patrick Cantlay. But then more importantly, because some of these golfers start the week with longer odds, anytime they're hit with a sharp bet, their odds will decrease pretty quickly. However, some of the favorites, their odds won't move as much, or they may get bets taken and their odds won't move much at all, but golfers around them will see their odds move the other way, which is a bad thing for them. So the golfers whose odds remain the same have that similar effect. And we have 3 golfers this week: Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, recent PGA champ, and Tony Finau, who is the cover boy. Speaking of Finau, he earned the cover boy label this week. He is written up in the Daily Plug by Niramata. He's a top 5 play in our Occupy model. And as Niramata, he's talked about it a couple times in our Daily Plug, that Finau is this close to breaking through. Lots of hints that a W is coming for him. And Niramata thinks that the icing on the cake, the final indicator, was Finau's 66 on Sunday at the PGA Championship. In contention, played a great round, fixed any holes that he may have had in his game. Now we see that he is getting at least some love here in the betting markets. in the sharp betting markets. Add that to Niramata's confidence. Add it to his top 5 ranking in the model. We have one of the best plays across the board. Now, let's look at the Occupy model and let's look at some projected ownership. Remember, the Occupy model is on OccupyFantasy.com. Go to the Occupy model menu link. No surprise. PGA. And let's sort by DraftKings projected ownership. And once again, as we look at this, as the week goes on, fantasy players, DFS analysts, content sites, they look at odds to win, compare them to DFS salaries, and a lot of time we that's how the values are determined. So it's no surprise when we see a lot of these big moves in the betting market that they end up being some of the highest owned golfers on the week. So as we look, when you look at the DraftKings projected ownership, it should be no surprise that a lot of these guys are littered near the top. Now, for that 15% or higher high owned mark that we look at, Finau, Berger, Jason Day, Morikawa, John Rahm, DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, and Matthew Wolff, literally all of these guys are in the betting market moves. So if you're playing low risk contests, 50-50s, double ups, head to heads, you want to get as many of these golfers into your lineup as you can. Now, high risk, you want to get as many as you can as well, but we have to be cognizant of our total ownership. We still need a couple, at least one 5 to 10% owned golfer, probably 2 if we're playing really high risk. So we can't just jam in all these high owned golfers because our lineups will be duplicated. It'll be too chalky. So we have to keep that in mind. If we're looking for, now remember, as Niramata actually points out here, one note on the Pinnacle lines, unless it's a major, Pinnacle only prices, they only give odds to win for 50 to 60 golfers. So there are some bottom of the field golfers that we can look at that may get odds changes. And our model uses Sugar House from Pennsylvania, a legal sports book. So you may see some different line moves here. And we see guys in the cheaper range, Harris English, Cameron Champ, Sung J M, getting hit pretty decently at Sugar House, Pennsylvania. Or Sugar House, New Jersey, actually. Misspoke. Our odds are from Sugar House, New Jersey. So, see a lot of the same guys here. But then we see other cheaper golfers, if you're looking for cheaper, lower owned guys, especially guys like Cameron Champ, 5% projected ownership on DraftKings. Sung J, 9% projected ownership. Don't forget Justin Rose, 5% projected ownership on DraftKings is a little bit more expensive option. And if we sort again by DraftKings ownership, 2 guys stand out to me at least as lower owned options despite getting betting market moves. One in particular is Ricky Fowler. Now, our model's never high on Ricky Fowler. I'm pretty much never playing Ricky Fowler, but Niramata actually likes him this week. And for a change, we actually get him at decent ownership, 7%, and the sharp bettors like him. So we actually get the benefit of having a guy who's a value according to his odds. Sharp bettors like him, and he's going to be less than 10% owned. Now, never confident playing him, but again, this looks like the perfect storm to play Ricky Fowler. A couple other guys, let's see. Tiger Woods actually got hit a little bit. He's 9% projected ownership. And if we go back here, let me see. There was one more golfer in this range. Let's go back to the Occupy model. So it was Sung J M, who was 1,600 cent move over at Sugar House. Another golfer in that range that you can use. Let's not forget Louis Oosthuizen, 1,000 cent move at Sugar House. He's 7% owned. Justin Rose we talked about. Cameron Champ we talked about. So a couple golfers you can get in this 5% range to help you supplement some of those really popular options at the top of the model, at the top of the DraftKings projected ownership, at the top of the betting market moves. I think that's it for this video. Not to give you too much of the Occupy model, but if you look at guys that Niramata likes, that the betting market likes, that Occupy model likes, we see guys like Jason Day, Hideki, Abraham Answer, Tyrrell Hatton, DeChambeau, Tiger, Berger, John Rahm, and then of course Thomas, Morikawa, and Finau, and then Woodland too in that lower range. These guys are the trifecta, we like to call them. All the stars are aligning. Our plug, our model, and sharp bettors all like them. And when we get this conglomerate effect, we really nail the sharp plays on the week. These guys end up being the sharpest DFS plays. And we've hit this every single week since the restart. So using those factors, you're off to a good start building your DFS lineups. Now, be sure to continue to check back the Occupy model to get every player ranked for FanDuel and DraftKings. Be sure to check back into our Discord channel where Nirmata is going to post the nighttime Wednesday betting market move update. And then compare all of the sources tonight when you're building your lineups to see if any more of that trifecta are uncovered. So that'll do it for this video. Appreciate you listening. Go ahead and click that subscribe button once again. Make sure you're notified when all of our videos are released. Be sure to join us on Twitch tonight, twitch.tv/OccupyFantasy at 10 p.m. Eastern to get your questions answered live. And OccupyFantasy.com is where you can get access to both the Daily Plug and the Occupy model. So once again, appreciate you listening. Good luck this week, and we'll talk to you soon.